Welcome. Thanks so much for who is joining us now and who is going to join us later. If you don't know me, I'm Becky. I'm a school counselor at the elementary level in Michigan. Happy wife, and I have 4 kids ranging in age from 20 down to 12, 2 boys and 2 girls. I have my drink of choice in the morning in one of my most favorite mugs. It says, "You are my favorite." Different story for a different time. And I hope you have your drink of choice on this beautiful Saturday morning in July. And I have a lot to share today, and you can speed it up or whatever you need to do. But I felt like I've worked on a lot of things for a few months, and I wanted to share the whole picture. So I will say technology is my curse, and if you joined before, it already messed up in the beginning. I was hoping to do a lot of interaction online, but I think I need an assistant for that, so that's not going to happen today. But please leave your comments and questions and info, and I will be looking at all of it later and compiling that and reaching back out to you. So my apologies for that. This is my first Facebook Live, I admit, and so it feels a little bit odd, but thank you so much for being here. So if you follow me on Instagram and a little bit on Facebook, or now I have a YouTube channel, I've been doing a lot with a new resource and idea called Cool Jobs Club. And it's targeted for kids, but I think people of all ages could be part of it, because I need adults to share about their unique jobs, and I think people of all ages love exploring jobs. At least I know I do. And so if you want to type in the comments some things that, or jobs that you've heard of that you don't really understand at all, or maybe you are in a career that you tell people what you do and they look at you and they're like, "I've never heard of that. Tell me more about it." This happens to me often, not with my job, but when I talk to family members and people in the community. So go ahead and list a job on there that you would like to know more about. I'll give you a little bit of history on my career and job history. As a teenager, I did work pretty hard. I kind of had pretty usual jobs. I did babysitting. I was a waitress for several years. My probably most unique job is that I was a golf caddy, my sister and I, and this is unique because I think I've only played golf 4 times in my life, but it was a very flexible job and it was a pretty fun job. I also did cleaning at college, worked in food service at college, and knew pretty early on I wanted to be a teacher. So I studied to be a secondary education social studies teacher and did that for several years. And when you need to get your master's in education, I went into school counseling, and that is what I've been doing for the last 9 years, and it's a very rewarding job, very challenging. But part of that job is helping kids look at careers for the future. And I work a lot with 3rd, 4th, and 5th. As I said, I have kids of all ages, so we're often talking about this and thinking about what majors people want. My nieces and nephews can attest that I love asking them about what they want to do and what the path is to get there. And so this spring especially, when I was looking for resources and talking to kids at school in our small groups about jobs they might like, I feel like there's just not a lot of resources on jobs we haven't heard of. Jobs like hydrologist, a food scientist, a dietitian, a territory account manager. These are all actual people I met in the last few months, and I will show you how I've compiled that information in a little bit. But so I created this because I want to bring exposure to many people and give people a whole array of options when they're thinking about what they want to do in their adult life or even in their teenage life. And one topic I want to go into first is entrepreneurs. I have had the privilege to talk to a few. When I think of entrepreneur, I think of someone running their own business. It may be a new idea completely, or it may just be their own brand of it. One person you'll see on my videos is Pink Elephant Cupcakes, and they were kind of my first entrepreneurs, 18 to 20 years in their business, where they run their own business and they've learned a whole lot, and you can see that when I post the full interview on YouTube. My own kids have been very entrepreneurial in their teenage years. One has a friend who set him up with mowing lawns, and this has pretty much covered his college education, and they've learned so much in the soft skills like customer service, managing the money, working as a partnership. Another one of my kids is more artistic and can make the really fun banners on beige paper, and for grad parties, birthdays, whatever you need, she can make it specific for you, and she's had a lot of fun doing that. And then I have another child who is exploring the power washing business and has started that this summer, and we will see where that takes him. So that to me is very entrepreneurial, and it lays a lot of groundwork for the future. But if you are an entrepreneur, I would love to talk to you about your business and how you developed it, where it came from. And this kind of feels like my biggest entrepreneurial thing that I've been involved with. And so it feels risky. One person described an entrepreneur as being risky. No one is telling you what to do. You're just thinking about it and doing it yourself. So there's a whole segment on entrepreneurs that I will be adding because I think it takes a special person to do that. So my overall goal, and I know I'm kind of all over the place, is interviewing and researching people in their fields, experts in their fields, or people even about to go into that field, and making videos of our interview in full interview form and then in small shorts on Instagram and YouTube, and then making resources to pair with the jobs. This is just one resource about underwater welding, and we will look at more things, but this would be what kids could look at or adults could work on to help them process what they're seeing online from the people I've interviewed. And also, there's definitely going to be a focus on either a unique part of a job that is familiar, or exploring the jobs, like I said, that most people don't know about, hence the name Cool Jobs Club. Some examples might be like everyone knows what a doctor is. We go to a doctor at certain points of our life, but do people understand you could be a nurse anesthetist, or you could be an anesthesiologist, and those are thriving careers that are much needed and a little bit different than a doctor. Most kids and everyone knows teachers. I love teachers, they're amazing. We still need lots of teachers for sure. But you can also work in a school and be a speech pathologist, which involves a little extra schooling, and anyone who's talked to me lately in the 20-year-old range, that's what I always tell them. If I were going back, that is probably what I would do. And you can work as that in a school, and it's a great place to work with that. You can also work in hospitals, have your own private practice, and you can do a whole lot of things with helping people learn how to speak, and also a lot with processing language. So let me just kind of give you a rundown of how I see this working. I'm gonna use the job of dietitian because I got to meet a dietitian. I really don't think I'd ever known one before. I put something out on a community Facebook page, and a wonderful woman named Bethany is a registered dietitian not far from me. She agreed to do an interview. And so we met, I think, back in May, and we did a whole long interview. I learned a lot about it, and she gave me all kinds of information. And so the idea is you would go on my YouTube page, and I will show you that right now. It will, here are kind of the shorts and everything. And then if you go under playlist, you could see the entire video, which is like 36 minutes long. So counselors, parents, teachers, you might not be able to show the whole video, but you could go over to shorts and watch a little clip about a dietitian. Here she is right here. And I'm so grateful for her. Her practice is called Nourish Living. And I just learned so much from her. And I don't think there's too many kids in like their junior or senior year of high school saying, I want to be a dietitian. But I think it's a great idea. And she loves her career. And she's worked in multiple places using that degree. It also, she helps us understand like how much work it was to get to that place and what type of subjects you need to like, such as a lot of science. She took a lot of science. So then from the interview, I have created these documents on Teachers Pay Teachers. And so I'll kind of show you this here. And some of this has been on Instagram. So like cool job number 2 is dietitian. And this is targeted for upper elementary and middle school. But, you know, like I said, I didn't know that much about it. So really anyone could use it. So it gives a little description, some tools they might use, fun facts about it. And like I said, then you can go back and find me on Instagram at BexlinCop or on my YouTube channel and keep rewatching. And then maybe it would prompt you, you can search in AI and just get more information. What colleges have this degree? How difficult is it? How many years of study? And then with each video or with each worksheet, I also have a reflection paper where you can say, write one thing you would like about this job. You know, you could expand it to something you don't want to do. And then drawing a picture, because there's a lot of kids who love to draw things out and they'd rather put that on there. So for every job that I've researched, I have this reflection page. So that's that. And then all of them, I also put a black and white copy. I know we all love color, and you could put the color up on your computer or print it that way. But if you wanted a printable in black and white, they are all here for that. So that's just one job of dietitian. So far, I have also made, as I said, underwater welding. I think I had my oldest child considering this for maybe about a week, but he moved on, and that's okay. Territory account manager. One of my brothers does this, and it was very cool to learn about. It's a lot of sales, but in a different realm. And for someone who loves to move around, drive, and talk to lots of people, it's a great job. I talked to an awesome firefighter nearby who I had never met before as well. His name was Andrew, and he's a specialized firefighter. So he does a ton of rescue and has certifications in all types of rescuing: rope rescue, water rescue, trench rescue, rescues that I didn't even know existed, but obviously needed. And he loves his job, and when I post his interview, he's always encouraging kids to visit fire stations, get to know firefighters. So those are the resources, and that's kind of where my process is of giving content to kids online, because we know that's where they're going. I'm all about being outside. I don't want people on computers all the time, but you know, they can learn a few things in social studies, but the more kids are investigating on their own, and if they're going to be on YouTube, why don't they learn something of value? That is often what I'm telling my students. Find something that can actually help you out. I know it's fun to laugh and watch all the videos of pranks and people being crazy, but take some time, at least once a week, and think about your future. All right, what else did I want to say? I am so sorry. I really did want to be commenting or answering questions on here, but like I said, I will have to do that later. One thing, oh yeah, another resource. This is what I just created. As I told you, I wake up in the middle of the night with these ideas, and that's why I feel so passionate about it. I just posted this activity the other day, and it's kind of like an overall, in general activity. I'll show you the one that's clean and new. Hopefully you can see that pretty well. It basically gives the heading of person, job, and would you like this job? And then the example is, this is actually real in my life, but my grandpa was a fire chief. And no, I really never thought about doing that, even though I admired him greatly. It wasn't something I wanted to do. But here then is kind of my world, I think when I was little. I went back to when I was younger, maybe around 10 years old, and I wrote down some of the people in my life that I definitely knew what job they were doing and would I have wanted to do this or not. And one job I wanted to point out is one of my grandpas was a telephone lineman, and I don't even think that job exists anymore. So sometimes it's kind of fun to see how jobs evolve over time. So that is one part of the activity. The other part is then looking at jobs that maybe we haven't heard of before. And this is where feel free to comment on any of these that you haven't heard of. A prosthetist. My son, who is 20, told me he had not heard of that. I do know kind of what it is. Meteor or hydrologist, concrete pump operator, an arborist, wind turbine technician, food stylist, logistics coordinator, aquarist. I don't even know if I'm saying that. My apologies if I said it wrong. Water treatment operator. I don't think many people are declaring this as a major or a career when they are 17 years old, but I think it's worth noting. These are jobs that some people are doing. And then here's my paper. So it's very simple. Circle the ones that you have heard of or you could at least explain, and then put question marks by the ones that you feel like you've never even heard of before or you definitely need to learn more about. So feel free to comment anywhere on what that looks like for you, or a job that you're like, hey, this hasn't been mentioned and you should share about it. Let's see here. What else did I want to say today? We do need to talk about teachers pay teachers. So if you're in education, you know all about teachers pay teachers. You probably have an account. Accounts are free. And then people like myself and people all over the nation and the world post things, resources they've made, and other educators buy them. Also homeschooling parents, parents just wanting activities in the summer. So, I highly recommend, if you're kind of feeling that little bit of boredom midsummer at this point and you've done a lot of math and reading and you want something different for your child, go on there, make an account, look up Cool Jobs Club, and you can print them out. And I will just show you what my page looks like if you're not familiar with it. So everything, finding me is easy, Cool Jobs Club, because I'm basically the only one using that title. This is just my storefront. And then, here we go. And then here is the page of dietitian. It gives the whole explanation, all of that. It gives the different pages in black and white, and then you just download this. This one is a free resource. So you download it and print it off, whichever pages work best for you. Here are, if you look on here, these are all the things I've created so far, and I will be adding, like I said, every day new things are coming to mind, and I'm hoping to gain more people who would like to share about their job. Once I interview them, then I'll make the paper, I'll make the videos, and we will continue to grow this. I know everyone's probably tired of giving their emails out. If you really are like, I don't want a Teachers Pay Teachers account, it's really not that involved. It's not like they're texting you every day, and as I said, it's free to join it. But you can email me and we can find a way where I distribute the papers to you if you want them, and then you could just Venmo me. So that is another option. So let's talk about age group a little bit, especially if you have kids that you're homeschooling or you are in a school working as a counselor or a teacher, or you need some sub-plans. This is kind of a fun and different option. You can show the videos from YouTube. They will all be very appropriate, kid-friendly, safe for school. And then you could give out the resources and the kids could work on them in pairs. And the next thing I'm going to work on is a back to school, probably activity and resource, and it'll be focused on getting back to school and getting to know each other, but with a career slant, because we know a lot of people will start thinking about that in August. And I think just giving kids and students the vocabulary about careers is really helpful to them and making it a part of normal conversation. I also want to invite anyone who has a unique type of job or has a spouse or someone they know that would want to do an interview with me. It's basically on-the-job interview if possible. Some people I met at a park and they just talk about their job, bring some of their tools, or you can just video yourself for a minute with what you're doing. Getting that content in front of people is so helpful because we all learn so much by reels and videos these days. I'm sure you all have people, and please comment on the Facebook Live of who that is, and I will love to reach out to them. Even if they don't live nearby, we can create some videos, they can send them to me, and then I'll work those out. I do have a waiver if it's a minor, which I did want to mention. I know a couple other awesome entrepreneurs. One is in the boat washing business. He is in high school and he's working on a 10K challenge, and I think he's already at 7,000 to 8,000 for this summer. I know another guy the same age who has an amazing business washing windows and cleaning windows, and they do a lot of great work as high school entrepreneurs. A couple examples in my life. I have two brothers and a sister. My sister's a nurse, so I understand, but now she had shifted jobs, so I wanted to ask her all about how that is different and than what she was doing before, because it did shift a little bit. My two brothers have pretty unique jobs. One of them is a vegetation management specialist. I'd love to know how many people have heard of this. It would be a little bit like an arborist, but he loves being outdoors, and I think the job is perfect for him. One day when I was visiting him out of town, he showed me the work on his computer. He gets to go in a helicopter once a year, and being the outdoorsman that he is, I think it's a perfect fit for him. But I really never heard about it till he was doing the job for 5 to 7 years. My other brother, as I mentioned, is a territory account territory account manager in construction equipment. So he drives around building his clientele, often picking up sweets to share with them, because food always helps conversation. And then he, builds his business that way. If you hate driving or you don't like talking to people you've never met, probably not the job for you. But that's just two examples of people in my life that I'm actually pretty close with, and I didn't even know that much about their career. Maybe it's me, I need to ask more questions. So feel free to leave me questions. I'm sorry we didn't get to interact online, but if I ever do this again, I'll probably have someone else assisting me. If you can help me out, I would love you if you follow me on Instagram at @BackslinCop. This is more public, and it will have the shorter reels and little posts and reminders and let you know of what's coming up. The YouTube channel is Cool Jobs Club. You can subscribe there. It will have the short videos, a lot of which are from Instagram, but then slowly but surely I am uploading the entire full interviews after I edit them. And then, as I mentioned, the Teachers Pay Teachers. It's just teacherspayteachers.com. You can search up Cool Jobs Club, and there'll be games, activities, as I already showed you on my screen. There's a lot of things on there. And so all of these together is what I'm hoping can bring exposure to the more unique jobs. And I hope that this is